Thank you. And good evening, class of 2016. I'm very humbled to have this opportunity to speak to all of you tonight, and I'm not at all resentful that I've had to stay sober for the first 2 hours. A cruel and unusual torture that I see the people up the back have not subjected themselves. Tonight represents more than our last chance to dress up, exploit an open bar, and make decisions we'll likely regret in the morning, though it certainly can be all of those things. Tonight's value is greater than the ticket price we paid to get in the door. Maybe only just. Tonight is a celebration of the Melbourne JD class of 2016, a toast to our accomplishments and a preamble to our futures. A close friend of mine says that all journeys in life have 3 stages. I'm not sure if it's true of life in general, I'm only 23, but I think it's generally true of the Melbourne JD. Stage 1, first year of law school, is characterized by the uncertainty of the unknown. It's the part of the journey where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to keep moving anyway. Whether you were fresh out of undergrad, a mature-aged recruit, or somewhere in between, I think first year was a formative time for all of us. It was when we made our first law school friends, when we went to our first law ball, when we realized that reading every page of work choices and understanding constitutional law are 2 very different propositions. It was when we survived our first SWAT back, when we endured the morning after our first EOX, when we fell in love for the first time with the rule of law, when we fell in love for the first time with one of our law school classmates, when we came to the realization for the first time that loving your law school classmates was probably a bad idea, but that loving the rule of law will always be a good idea. Stage 2, second year of law school, is characterized by chaos. If you need proof that chaos is an apt descriptor for second year, there's a now removed Facebook thread about a women's only study space that puts the matter beyond reasonable doubt. While I'm reticent to do so, it's hard to talk about second year without talking about clerkships. Whether you actively took part in the process or watched from the sidelines as I did, clerkships affected all of us in second year in one way or another. And on reflection, I think the clerkship process is a lot like being a single guy and deciding you're ready to find your soulmate, settle down, and get married. You start going on fancy dates, wearing your freshly dry cleaned suit, sporting your overpriced Harvey Specter haircut. You talk up your achievements, talk down your accomplishments, talk down your competition. And when everything is said and done, you try to end up with someone you think is far prettier than you are. Here's the thing though. A lot of marriages end in divorce. A lot of relationships are poorly chosen. And sometimes you think your perfect girl is level 37 of 101 Commons, when actually she's been a quirky community legal centre on 19 King all along. Now, I don't rate my clerkship advice any more than I rate my relationship advice, but my feelings on second year, on clerkships, and on chaos are summed up pretty neatly by my favourite Beatles line, which is, we get by with a little help from our friends. Stage 3, third year of law school. It's characterized by resolution and belonging. It's the time of the journey where the once scattered pieces of the JD puzzle slowly start falling into place. And maybe we're still missing a few pieces. Maybe some of the pieces have been lost or damaged along the way. But 3 years down the track, I think it's fair to say we're starting to form some semblance of the finished product, a Melbourne Law School graduate. Through each stage of this epic journey, there have been triumphs and milestones worthy of celebration. In our time, we've edited law journals, we've run the LSS and GLSA, we've travelled around the world together for global lawyer and institutions. We stayed awake for 3 nights straight together to learn the content for and then complete the exam for criminal law and procedure. We've been immortalised in a marketing campaign that showcases our profound capacity to eat burgers, blow bubbles, and watch superhero movies. And while it was with us, we gave the Corkman the love and adoration befitting of a dirty pub whose only virtue was its proximity to the water. Tonight is certainly about looking back at where we have come from and what we have been through together. But I think it's also about asking a more difficult question. A question that's probably buzzing around inside all of your heads tonight, as it is in mine. And that is, where to now? I'm not sure I can answer that question for myself, let alone any of you. But I do have a few thoughts on law and life moving forward that I want to share with you all. The first is about the type of success we pursue. While we are law students, we are also people. And this means we should pursue things that are meaningful, in preference to things that will bring us status, money, or power. I believe that there are 2 types of success. There is this kind of success that you put on your resume, and there is the kind of success that people talk about at your funeral. The resume successes are the things that you've done which demonstrate your preparedness for the marketplace. For us, that means, do you have innovative ideas? Do you exhibit commercial acumen? Do you have a client-centric approach? The funeral successes are the things that get spoken about at your eulogy. Whether you're a loving member of your family, whether you gave generously of your time, whether you did things with passion and for fun. We all know that the funeral successes are more important than the resume ones. But our culture and our educational system spends more time, possibly rightly so, teaching you the skills you need for a career. But because of this, I think there's a very real danger that we will leave here tonight and go into the world in pursuit of some idealized, preconceived notion of what a good law graduate does, thinks, or looks like. That we will do this at the expense of pursuing things that are meaningful. But there is no ratio decidendi to tell us what a good law graduate looks like. On this question, there is no binding authority or bright line test. Each case will be determined on its facts. The second thought is about character. The study and practice of law teaches us, above all else, to be adversarial. We learn this through class discussion, through mooting, through exams, and through commenting on de minimis articles that maybe shouldn't have been posted in the first place. In many contexts, being adversarial or argumentative is a fine trait to possess. But too often, I think we're adversarial at the expense of being kind, both to ourselves and to each other. I received some advice from a lecturer during second year that has stuck with me. Relationships matter, and being nice is not a sign of weakness or ineptitude. These words continually remind me of something that we already know. Being kind is more important than being right. Being kind is certainly more important than having commercial acumen, innovative ideas, or a client-centric approach to your work. Kindness is not judged on a bell curve against the relative kindness of your friends. Kindness stands alone and defines your character more so than your ability to win an argument. The final thought I want to share with you all this evening is about leadership. I think if ever there are a question about the competence and capacity of the next generation's leaders, it's answered by this context. I think it's natural to look at others, lawyers, judges, teachers, mentors, who have accomplished great things and be in awe of them. If you spend enough time in this law school, you're bound to come across some of these people. It's Gillian Triggs criticising the government's record of human rights abuses at the Sir Anthony Mason lecture. It's Cheryl Saunders teaching a class of constitutional law, or Matthew Elbert recounting the story of M70 like only he can. It's Justice Hayne presiding over the grand final of an internal mooting competition, or Michael Cromlin making us forever question how you properly pronounce the word chameleon. There are countless other examples, but the point is really a simple one. To us, these people, these leaders, have been living giants. Wherever you go from here, whatever you do, whether you like it or not, you will carry with you the regard and expectation that comes with being a graduate of Melbourne Law School. By definition, you will exert influence on the sphere of society that you choose to enter. And you will have the capacity to become a leader and mentor for the next generation, for the people that follow in your footsteps. There is no doubt that we have worked hard for this privilege, but it is a privilege nonetheless. So, class of 2016, when the time comes, I ask of you this: pursue things that are meaningful, be kind to yourselves and others, and be giants worthy of following. Thank you.